Welcome to another episode of Let's See Plans. I'm your host, KD. Today we have a special guest. She's an entrepreneur, mother of three, a lock stylist, and she's going to be talking about her up-and-coming project. Welcome, Roshni. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. So, your oldest son was born with autism.
Correct.
So, what was like finding out your oldest son has autism?
Well, first, autism is something that has not been around very long. Like, it hasn't been something that was talked about in our generation. We were coming up.
Yeah.
It wasn't that familiar. So, me and his dad were not familiar with it at all. And we started noticing that, like, he wasn't talking. He was like 4. He wasn't talking. He would point at everything. He would like mumble or like struggle to use his words. So we knew something was wrong, but just couldn't figure it out as first-time parents. So at first, I don't think I was in denial. I think I was just more so like concerned, like what's wrong with my baby. But then like a family member told us, I know somebody that has autism, and I think the other one is like Asperger's. And, it wouldn't hurt to get him checked out. So we got him checked out. Sure enough, they diagnosed him with autism. And then I think I was like super emotional at first because as a first-time mom, I'm not knowing what to expect with that. I'm not knowing. All I know is my baby's delayed. He has a learning disability. What does that mean, as a first-time parent? So I was very emotional for like, I want to say that first year. I was trying to just understand like what it was and how could this, happen to him. But then as I started to learn more about it, get resources, have a village behind me,
Right.
It became easier to accept, and it became easier to, I guess, teach him, to accept himself and to learn differently because he learns differently.
Yeah.
So I had to learn as a parent, like every child is different, every child is unique, and yours is just one of them. That's more so of a superhero than, disabled, so to speak.
So, I don't want to sound crazy when I'm about to ask, but like, does he know that he's autism?
He does. Yeah, he does. He knows because, of course, you have the doctors, the teachers, the special education teachers that kind of like put that label on you. So like it's like they don't throw it around, but they definitely let you know. So he knows. He's aware.
And how old is he?
He just turned 13.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
he's a teenager now.
okay, so like, how his interaction, his behavior, when he feels. So I'm not really familiar with autism, but like, I know what it's like to have a learning disability, and some kids are mean. So does he experience those type of children?
So I think as he gets older, like that's gonna be something that he has to experience more because older kids are mean. But one thing about my child, like he owns his uniqueness, like he owns it. He knows that he's different. He knows that he's very brilliant. But I noticed that kids around him, instead of like bullying or being mean, they actually like they get inspired by him more than they want to tease him or anything like that. Like kids around him, they gravitate to him more because he's different in a very unique way. So like my son is an artist, right? And like we come from a family of artists. My brother that's a year older than me, he used to sit with him when I used to work when he was a baby. He used to sit with him and watch him do paintings and just create. Yeah. And then we started noticing like he knows how to draw like very well. Then he started just like doing all type of other things. And like now he's so cold, he can take anything out the house and like make something with it. He can do blueprints. Okay. He can do all type of stuff. So like with having that talent, a lot of the kids, I guess it's kind of very rare because a lot of kids nowadays, they so stuck on electronics, TikTok, all that stuff. But when they see him doing that, like that's what I guess gets the kids like around him to really, really like him and to want to be around him and to, like interact with him. So he doesn't experience that a lot. It might be some kids, like a little one-off that might try, but the way his friends are set up, they don't play about him at all. So
good.
he hasn't really had those moments where he experienced bullying because he was different.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
No, that was what's up because like I only asked because I grew up with a speech impediment, so it's just like I can know how kids is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So no, that's good. So like, how has having a child with autism shaped the way you parent all your kids?
That's a good question because, like, when you have multiple kids,
Yeah.
you do not raise them like you raise them the same because they're around each other and you're in the same household.
Yeah.
But each kid is like they're tailor fit.
Yeah.
So you have to know their personality in order to raise them the way that it shapes their personality, right?
Right.
So like with my oldest son being autistic, I know that with him because like now he talks. Like now
Yeah.
he'll talk. And the problem is he may not stop talking. Like he like he'll talk back if you say he has to get the last word. So if you say something to him, okay, son, you got okay, that's enough. Okay, all right. Like he has to get the last word.
Yeah.
But with that, like you have to know their traits. You have to know that this child might be a little bit more angrier when you tell them to do something versus this child, they may listen more. You may have to have more patience with that child than with this one, right? And like with me having a child that is autistic,
Yeah.
I know that I have to have more patience with him than I do the other ones. Even though, you have to be patient with all your kids, any kid really.
Right.
But it's just different for each child. So I mean, I kind of just the way I parent based off of their personalities. I parent based off of my values and how I was raised. Like I was raised by a traditional grandmother, right? My grandmother was old school. God rest her soul. She was old school, so she ain't play a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of I use that to raise my kids, like especially in this society where a lot of kids are misguided, unfortunately, and a lot of kids don't have that type of parenting at home. So like I try to make sure I instill that in my kids, as well as a healing parent. Like back when we were growing up, it was cool because we were raised by like the traditional parents, grandparents, whatever, where they had all these sets of rules. They had more structure. Everything was different, right?
Yeah.
So like we grew up that way, but we also took in generational curses too from being raised by those type of parents and grandparents, right?
Yeah.
So I try to also make sure that when raising my kids, I don't pass that on to them. But it is hard because if that's instilled in you, you know that's something that it's a cycle that you do pass on unintentionally. But with me, I'm trying to be that healed parent that passes on that part to my kids versus the generational curse part of to my kids.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So you said raising your children, because you got 3 boys, right?
Right.
So they all have their own personality. So with him, his personality, how I'm trying to ask you this. So you having a autism child, what challenges do you face on a daily basis? Because you just mentioned how if you tell him no, does he get angry sometimes?
So yeah, the most challenging thing I think I face like with having an autistic child is the emotions. Like he's very emotional. Sometimes he can control them, sometimes he can't. Sometimes he knows how to vocalize his emotions, and sometimes he doesn't. Like, for instance, he might, so if I tell him, he might say, Mom, can I go to grandma's house or something like that, right? And if I say, well, did you do your homework? No, I didn't do no, you cannot go. He might go in his room. He might start doing that homework, but he might say, look, he might start getting slick. He might say some stuff under his breath. He might say some things that, another child may already understand, like, that's not cool to say. Or you can't talk to your parents like that. Like, but his understanding, like, he understands very well. He's very brilliant. But some things he does not, he doesn't gather is like he should.
Okay.
His understanding is it can be a little off sometimes with like, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that, but they say, like, when he was diagnosed, he was 4, right?
Yeah.
They said that his mindset would always be cut in half, so it would always be like 2 years behind his regular age, right? So although I don't see that as like, I don't think that's like true to a certain extent, because there are things that I noticed that he'll do that can be considered like childish, but it's because his mental has not developed, and it hasn't developed to the point where it's supposed to have caught up with his current age. So like, he adapts very well with being around younger kids, because his mental is still regulating as the 6-year-old he might be around. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, even though he probably can do math on a high school level and he's in middle school, right?
Yeah.
He probably can do that, but he might still be able to relate to kids that are younger than him because his mindset is still there.
So how do you keep your emotions intact when you? So let me ask you this. So, as you start seeing the signs of him not able to handle his emotions, do you have your moments where you kind of broke down at times? Or?
Absolutely. Like, it's hard. It's hard being a parent in general, okay? I know you don't know nothing about that yet, but when you get there, like, it's hard being a parent in general, because you got to make sure that you are, first of all, teaching them all the right things. You got to make sure, like, you're supposed to be so perfect in their eyes, right? But we know we're not. And when he gets emotional, like, that makes me emotional, because for one, as a parent, it makes me feel like, dang, what am I doing wrong? Am I failing? Am I not doing this right? Should I have done this better? It makes you question yourself, and sometimes you can doubt yourself as a parent, like when your kids feel a certain type of way. But me knowing that my child automatically is like going to be dealing with a bunch of emotions, like, it's hard. Sometimes I get angry. Sometimes I'm impatient. Sometimes I don't have tolerance for some of the things that he does, but I have to understand, like, this is what comes with that. Like, this is what comes with it.
How long? Like, because the reason why I asked, I was thinking of myself. If I had a child who had autism and I'm like new to it, and I'm watching my kid like acting out, it's be like, damn, like, what can as a parent, I know you try to think of things to save your child.
Right.
So it's just like with that situation, it's nothing you can really do. You gotta just, you know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
just like, only thing you can do is have patience, but you wish you can have the solution.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So in that moment, I feel like me knowing who I am, I'll be very emotional at the beginning stage.
Absolutely. It's hard. Sometimes we as parents really forget, or in that moment we forget that you don't always have a solution for everything. Like, there's no handbook to parenting. It's no right or wrong. Like, we all trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if you're the best parent in the world, you do everything for your kids, you always show up for everything. There's still a flaw somewhere that you're trying to perfect, that you just can't.
Yeah.
Or that you can try, but you're gonna there's somewhere you're gonna struggle as a parent, Sure. And like with me, with that child specifically, trying to regulate his emotions is very hard for me, because, like I said, you got a parent that's trying to heal too, and then I'm dealing with your emotions and mine at the same time, and then your brother's emotions and everybody else's emotions. Like, it's hard to have a solution for it all the time. Sometimes you just got to sit back and let them feel, let them think, let them, however he gonna act out. Sometimes you got to let him.
Yeah.
Now, if it's in an appropriate way, or if it's in a way where it's like, all right, now you tested me, you have to let them know that, though. You got to be able to communicate with your kids no matter what. You have to still be there for them during the times where they can't regulate those emotions, and when they can.
Right.
It's hard as hell. It's hard, but I make it work because I love my child. I love my kids, so I make it work.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So, like, what are some unique strengths you see in your son that you wish more people understood about kids with autism?
Ooh, that little boy is a superhero. Like,
Yeah.
when I say I thought I was resilient,
Yeah.
that's a resilient ass child. Like, from going to not being able to speak to now you're very verbal and you know almost every word in the dictionary.
Yeah.
To be able to look at something on TV and then be able to draw it 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
To be able to feel for other people. Like, when I say he is very emotionally intelligent and he's very aware of other people's emotions.
Yeah.
Like, he can read people better than some grown-ups can. There's a lot of adults who lack emotional intelligence.
I agree
and
to that.
Yeah, and who cannot even, like, they don't know how to read the room at all. Mm-hmm. My son, though, he just turned 13. He can do that very well. Mm-hmm. I just wish people would understand that children, even adults, but children with autism, they're not slow. They're not like, right. I hate when people use the word retarded or like stuff like that. People that are not educated on autism are the ones who always think that those kids are delayed in that sense. Right. And there are some autistic children that are they're like on a more severe scale. So they're like they're nonverbal. They may hit. They may spit at you. They express themselves in I guess what you would call inappropriate ways, but it's because that's all they know how to do. Mm-hmm. But on the other side of it, like for kids who are mildly autistic, which my son is now, okay. They're very brilliant. They are very organized in a sense, like a lot of them are used to routine. So like you throw that routine off, that might throw them off like all the way. But one thing people really need to understand is those are the most brilliant geniuses that you will ever come across. Okay. They mind work in different ways, but it work in different ways for a very good reason. Like, they learn differently, but they learn differently because they can see things we can't. Right. They can express themselves in ways that we can't. So I just want people to understand that autism is not something that hinders them for real. Like, it's... Oh, okay. Yeah, like, I feel like autism is a superpower. Okay. Just based off of my child.
And I know I've seen little clips, or not clips, but pictures you post of him. Mm-hmm. I see he's real big on anime with Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. That's dope. No, that's dope. Yeah. So like, before we switch topics, like, what's your message to a parent? I'm gonna say this way. I'm gonna ask you this way. What's your message to a parent who's dealing with a child with autism for the first time?
Have patience. If you don't have patience, you need to find some. Because they need you to be able to understand them. You can't understand them if you're always jumping down their throat, always getting frustrated, ready to quit on them just because you don't understand them. Right. People may not understand you, but you want them to be giving you that grace, so give them grace.
Definitely.
That's it.
Oh, definitely. No, that's good. That's good. And you mentioned, like, you talked about one of the things you wanted to do is to break cycles, generation curses. Mm-hmm. What are some things you're intentionally doing for your kids that you didn't receive growing up?
That's a great question. For one, spending time with them. That's something I wish somebody would have did with me when I was younger. Yeah. Spending time with them, allowing them to have a voice. That's a big one because not just me, but everybody that grew up in our generation, you know, we're all used to a child should be seen and not heard, right? Not my kids. You want to say something, let me know how you feel. Tell me. Yeah. Because I'd rather you tell me than for you to, you know, go tell somebody else in the wrong ear, you know, and that doesn't benefit you in any way. Or I'd rather you tell the wrong ear and it's somebody that's actually there to hurt you and not help you. Yeah. So I think listening to my kids, allowing them to have a voice, and then spending time with them, introducing them to new experiences. Right. I think as a child, that's one thing I always wish I had, was somebody to allow me to experience life for real. Yeah. Instead of just, you know,
Yeah, cause you very me being around you, like you always been very family orientated. Even when you be having your gatherings, you be having little games and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so yeah. And one of the things you said that I like, you was like allowing your kids to express themselves, and I believe that like, and I seen a clip on Instagram of a guy mentioned like when a parent, I ain't even gonna say what he had said, but basically, what I noticed of people um, had problems of expressing themselves because of how they was brought up.
Exactly.
That's why a lot of people don't have a hard time, don't know how to be vulnerable. Because if it's like, your parents tell you to do something, they're not explaining like why, like they're not allowed to like ask them, okay, why do
Right.
I gotta do it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for you to allow your kids to ask questions, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying this all wrong. If you basically like you allowing your kids to ask questions on why they gotta do it, and then you explaining them, then they'll know how to go about it in the real world. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So,
And I ain't gonna lie, because there's some moments where I have to catch myself where
yeah,
you might, like, I might be like, because I said so, or no, don't do that because whatever. But then I catch myself like, nope, you doing the same thing. You doing the same
Yeah.
thing that you said you didn't want to do.
Yeah.
So then I'll catch myself. I'll gather my thoughts and then go back and be like, hey, son, I wasn't trying to shut you up or trying to keep you quiet or anything like
Yeah.
that. Sometimes in that moment, it may not be the time for you to ask questions or express yourself because, you may need to do it right then and there. Or in the real world, police might tell you, put your hands on your head. You get to saying, well, why I got to do that? Why I got to, then boom,
Right.
they take your life away. And I think that's it's kind of like a double-edged sword because it's like on one end you want to tell your kids like it's okay to express themselves, right? But on the other end, because of the world we live in today, you got to tell them when it's okay and when it's not okay. Like
How you do that then? How you balance
it's
that
like
out? I know it's a challenging.
it's very challenging, but I think communication play a part in that. You have to talk to your kids. You got to sit them down sometime and be like, listen, remember that one day when I told you to be quiet and stop talking back? I told you that because X, Y, and Z. Get them examples. Explain to them like, in the real world, you may not be able to do that in this situation because that may cost you your life.
Right.
So.
No, that's good. No, that's definitely a good comparison. Okay. Hey, okay, look at you.
All
That's
right, now,
yeah,
I do a little something.
yeah. So like, I might be asking you the same question in a different way, but how important is emotional support and communication in your parenting style?
How important is emotional support? Now, are you saying from the people in my village or for me to give that to my kids?
For you.
Okay. It's very important because I feel like if you can't give your kids emotional support, right?
Right.
They're going to grow up angry, bitter ass kids. They're going to grow up with no sense of emotion, no sense of they're not going to be able to identify when they should be vulnerable and when they shouldn't. They're not going to have no type of emotional intelligence. Like you got to be able to give to someone what you want them to receive.
I agree.
That's just like reciprocal energy. Like what you put out, you get in, right?
Yeah.
You got a kid that don't know how to be affectionate because you never gave them that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how I look at it as like me being emotionally supportive to my kids. I gotta give them what I'm expecting them to be able to give to other people.
Yeah.
Or receive too. So
No, you right on that one. You right, and like I didn't understand as I got as an adult, and it's very important for parents to teach their children things that you wasn't taught because, shit in the real world, just being an adult, like being an adult is hard. You know what I'm saying?
shit, you telling me.
Yeah, so it's just like, especially when you get into relationships, and like, yeah, then you end up mishandling certain things and hurting the wrong people.
Absolutely. Oof.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
That's
just
a
like,
word.
yeah. So no,
Yeah.
definitely, I ain't thought about that part. So like, in what ways are you breaking generate? No, let me rephrase that question. In what ways are you trying to break generation patterns through your motherhood journey?
That's a great question too.
I know you mentioned spending time with them and allowing them to communicate. If you have any, like, what other patterns are you doing?
For me personally, therapy. Going to therapy is helping me to be a better parent so that I don't pass on generational curses. It's crazy because I have friends right now that be like, "You don't need therapy. What you in therapy for? You need to be a therapist." Because they so used to me always giving like good advice and always being that person that you can go to like when you need that support.
Yeah.
I've always been a listening ear versus a running mouth. So like, my friends, they always, some of them support the journey. Some of them like, you don't need therapy. Like, what you doing that for? But it's deeper than what they can see.
Right.
Because I have issues that are deeply rooted. A lot of trauma that's deeply rooted. It's like some things, yeah, I can give advice, but sometimes I can't take it. Like especially my own. You know, we so good to give everybody else advice, but you can never take your own. Yeah. And like for me, going to therapy, I feel was necessary to be a better parent because an unhealed parent cannot care for a child the way that they need to care for them because you already dealing with your own inner child. Mm-hmm. So now you dealing with your inner child that you never healed or that you never addressed.
I agree.
You passing all that on to your child now. Yeah. I feel like you are.
No, I agree to that.
Yeah.
You know, hurt people.
There you go.
And then like when you especially when you get into relationships, when a person is like what I learned too as I got older, you know, hurt people, and sometimes people mishandle things because of they dealing with their own hurt.
Absolutely.
And then they end up, you know, hurting you, unfortunately. Same with a parent, you know what I'm saying? And that's what helped me forgive my parents because it was a point in their life they didn't have kids and they were dealing with their own hurt. So then now they have myself and my siblings, they mishandling things. So like it just made me just forget them easy because it's like, you know, if a person is not loving on themselves, how they can able to love you. Like saying with children and also with in a relationship.
Yeah, that's I like that you just said that because like that resonates with me when it comes to like childhood trauma and stuff. Like I don't have a relationship with my mother because of childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And it's very deeply rooted to the point where like I've tried to forgive and let go of resentment and everything over the years as an adult, but I learned that like in adulthood, you think you get rid of that childhood trauma because you know you sweep it under the rug, but it actually gets worse when you get older. If you never heal from it, it gets worse. So
it does.
I think that part of the reason why we don't understand another person's traumas is because for one, we never dealt with our own, and the person that gave you those traumas, they still had that baggage on them too.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so like that's why I like what you said because it's like I didn't never realize like, dang, she might have went through something with her mom or she might have went through something when she was younger too. So that kind of prevented her from being the parent she needed to be for me.
Yeah, for sure.
And with that being said, that's why because I realized that, she probably didn't realize that.
Yeah.
But me as a parent, I realized that because I'm dealing with the stuff that she did, and now I have children. I don't want to pass that on to them.
Yeah.
I don't want to project onto my kids like I felt like it was projected onto me. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and we ain't got to dig too deep on it, but like, you know what I'm saying? I believe your mom do love you. It's just, you know, sometimes people doesn't have the self-awareness, unfortunately, to realize what they doing because it was one point in time where she was a kid and she got hurt by the wrong people. Right. And sometimes people still live in that trauma it's hard to get out of that trauma. And during those times, not making excuses, but during those times, you know, some people be stuck in it. It's like it's like having what's that word? When people have a hard time sleeping. Insomnia. Yeah, insomnia is what I heard is developed through trauma or stress.
I've heard that too. I don't know how accurate it is.
Yeah, so it's just like you don't like know the traumatic experience that your mom went through. Even though some people, so so I'm saying this all wrong. I'll give you credit of having that self-awareness of your own self to not make those same mistakes. But I'm not giving her no excuse. But
No, I definitely understand, because that's also something that's like addressed in therapy. It's like, yeah, we hold grudges. We hate those people that did whatever they did to us, but it's like, it sucks because you don't want to give them grace, but you damn near have to, because for one, that's the only way you're gonna be able to understand like what really happened.
Yeah.
And that's also the only way that you're going to be able to get through to be able to forgive them. Not even just for them, but for you, of course.
Right.
But I get it. Like I know now, because when I was a child, or like even as a teenager, in my 20s, I used to be like, no, none of that is excusable for her, because
for sure.
No,
Yeah,
you knew like everything that that triggered me, or everything that I experienced with my mother or as a child, I definitely blamed her for all of it. I blamed her for everything, because I feel like, why didn't you protect me when I needed you to protect me?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you give me this when I needed it? Or why couldn't we have a mother-daughter relationship like everybody else that was around me? But I never saw like the dark side of it. I never saw like, oh, maybe she went through this too. Maybe she did this because X, Y, and Z. But like now as an adult, which is why I like the people who say I don't need therapy, need to understand it's deeply rooted, is because like, no, you need to be able to understand both sides, even if you don't want to.
Yeah, and that's what I'm still learning how to do, even with not with my parents, but even relationships that I deal with people, and even romantic or not. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of helped me to look at things from a different perspective. And you said some people was like, no, you don't need therapy because you the listening ear, right?
Right.
But those be the type of people, not type of people, those be the people that need it the most because of things that they going through behind closed doors that people may not know about.
Absolutely. Like, I say this all the time. For you to be the strong friend or the strong family member or whatever, people look at you like you just made of stone. Like you can't nothing break you. But strong people get weak too.
Definitely.
And that's what a lot of people around you fail to realize. They need you, because obviously you offer something that that they need from you, right?
Right.
But it's like, I can't, like, you see me as this strong person, but I can't continue to be strong for you if I ain't strong for myself.
Right.
And I can't give you all this good advice that you come to me for, or be that listening ear or whatever, if I'm broken inside. But because I can't show face to y'all, because y'all think I'm just such a superhero, like, now what am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to run to when I am that person?
Yeah.
That's there for everybody. Like, where do you get that from?
No, definitely. So what was that moment that made you realize, like, okay, I need to go to see a therapist?
Man, listen. First of all, I should have went a long time ago. I should have went as a child, if we want to be all the way 100. But when I first started taking therapy seriously, I was pregnant with my last child. I was pregnant with my baby Taj, which was 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, 2021, right? I have struggled with depression and anxiety, especially depression, since a child, right?
Okay.
But I started realizing, like, when the people around me that, those same people who come to me for everything, when they started saying, like, you're becoming very unapproachable. Like, what? I've always been approachable. I've always been, but they started seeing me as not a villain, but a lot of them started looking at me like, you getting real mean. Like, you were mean before, but you getting mean. And like, I want to set the record straight. I have never been a mean person.
Yeah.
My demeanor may have come off like that. Like as a teenager, in my 20s, so a young adult, my demeanor used to come off that way because I was going through a lot of stuff. I was going through a lot. And although like I always had like this free spirit about myself, like I've always been very high spirited, very like the person that's going to always give love no matter what I'm going through. You will never be able to tell. But there's another side of me where it's like, okay, I might look mean as hell on my face. I don't know. Yeah. Like, and that makes people feel like, damn, I'm scared to say something to her, you know, but that's not me inside for real. That's just how I look because I can't mask what I'm going through at home or what I'm going through on the inside, no matter how much I try to, right? Right. So then, like, those people around me, they already knew all that. But for them to be like, no, now you starting to show. Like, now you're starting to put all that on other people. You're getting real angry all the time. You're lashing out on people all the time. You're not your regular self that we're used to, right? Yeah. And in that moment, I think it was one of my cousins that told me, like, she asked me one question, and I just snapped. Damn. Yeah, and I don't even know why, but I just snapped. And she was just like, you need to relax. Like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, and I couldn't even tell her, like, I don't know. Because I mean, I know I'm going through things, but I really don't know. So at that moment, it was her. It was one of my close friends that was like, you starting to look different and not in a good way. Like, you're starting to look different as in you looking mean and like nobody can come around you. Nobody want to talk to you because they scared of what you might say. They scared of how you might react. Right. That's not cool. No. I ain't never been that person. No matter what I went through, I've never been the person to feel like I need to attack other people because of how I feel, or I need to, like, if I ever had to attack anybody or defend myself, it was simply that, me defending myself, right? Yeah. Because I've always been cool with everybody, you know? But, yeah, when I started getting angrier, that's when I was like, I got to get some help. Yeah. You know, I got to get help. I can't, like, especially if my kids are seeing me in this light, I got to get help. Like, it's nothing that nobody else can do for me.
No, definitely. No, and, you know, I give you all praises because, you know, facing your problems it's not easy to do.
It's not.
And some people be, you know, stubborn and don't like to be told about themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I'm assuming you one of those types. The way you breathe.
I mean, well, it's not that I don't want to be told about myself because I can take criticism. I can take all that, right? Yeah. I think the stubbornness, because I am a Taurus, so I'm a little bullheaded. Okay. But the stubbornness for sure, like, I know I got that. I do. You can tell me about myself, but it might be some things where it's like you say something, and I'd be like, all right, going on now, like, whatever. Yeah. And that was me at that point. Okay. That was me.
So, how long you been in therapy?
So how old is my baby boy? He's 3. It's been about 4 years.
Oh, 4 years?
Yeah.
Wait, I should have been actually this. How old is your children? You got a 4-year-old, you got a 13-year-old.
So I have 13, 6, and 3.
3. Oh, I said he's a 4-year-old.
Okay. Yeah, he just turned 3.
Okay. So like, what has been the biggest lesson or breakthrough moment so far on your healing journey?
Finding myself again. I think people fail to realize that when you are broken and when you're in a state of not knowing who you are for real, that's where all those issues and like all those feelings, that's where all those like take over you. And you get to be in there for everybody else. I mean, you do everything for everybody else but yourself. Right. And like when I was in a relationship and being mom, focused on nothing but that, I lost everything about me. Like, I failed to realize that I was gifted for real, that I had all these talents I wasn't doing nothing with, because I was just focused on that, right? Yeah. You stop thinking that you have to show up for yourself in ways like physically being presentable. Like so it was times where I feel like I didn't need to get dressed. Where am I going? What am I doing? You know, I used to stay in the house all the time. Like only time I went outside was when me and my kids go to the park or we go somewhere. It was everything was focused on my kids or relationship, right? And when I realized that I had lost myself, it was no turning back. Like I was just already so far gone that I didn't even care no more. Yeah. And then on top of that, you have the traumas that are starting to load you too. Yeah. And like I think now, because I am completely detached from all of that, like I am of course still, you know, a damn good mother. Right. But I now understand that it's important as a mom to have a life of your own, and to be an individual. That's been the biggest breakthrough of my healing journey, is finding my individuality.
I'm proud of you. Thank you. Because, you know, it made me think about my dad, because like all my dad knew was just work and take care of his kids. And as we got older, I was like trying to explain, like encouraging him, like, man, you know, go have fun, go live your life. But I don't think he was so used to being a parent. I feel like he forgot about himself.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a thing for sure.
And
that's
like,
a thing.
And like, I try to like, I'll be very mindful of that when I have children, that I don't want to get caught up on being a parent, and that to the point where when they, you know, fly out the nest and have their own life, I'm just stuck.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So that's good. And what I want to ask you is like, what advice do you have for anybody that, you know, that was like you, stuck as being a parent, focusing on relationships and stuff like that?
I'll tell y'all something right now, because I know a lot of people gonna be like, "What?" Listen, parents need breaks too. I don't care what. I used to be that parent, especially when I had just one child. I used to be that parent that was like, "Oh no, my baby not going with nobody. Oh no, they, keep my kid." Like I'm still very overprotective of my kids, but when I say my firstborn, I was like the shelter. Oh my God, like I wouldn't let him do anything with nobody aside from me or his dad. I would not, like, it was only one family member that can take him anywhere, or whose house he could stay over. But like I started to realize that if you do have a village, because some people are not fortunate enough to have a village, if you have one and they are extending that help, take it. Like, please take it, because for one, it affects your mental health like a lot. It's you can go insane when you are literally just a parent. And I'm not saying this to say that, oh, you should be dumping your kids off every weekend to do stuff. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, if you have a village, allow them to be there for you when you need them to be. Don't just use them because they there. You know, because you can misuse people. You can wear out your welcome. You know, you could do all that, right? But you gotta have a life too.
I agree.
Because like I said, if you can't show up for yourself, you are not gonna be able to show up for them kids. And kids, they understand and they can see that too. Like when I was back to when I was in that mode where it was just nothing but my kids, relationship, always in the house, homebody, right? My kids could tell when their mama was depressed. They could tell.
Kids definitely peep that.
Literally, like, I remember when my middle child, he was only like 2, and he was very advanced at 1 year old, before 1, because I used to homeschool them. I homeschooled for 3 years, right? I homeschooled, and it was mainly because I felt like the public school system, not all of them, but some of them in that school was failing my child with autism, right? So took a leap of faith, quit my job, homeschooled my child. But then, of course, I had my new baby, and he was fully potty trained before 1. He knew all his colors, shapes, numbers, all that, right? But along with that, came that boy being very advanced emotionally as well.
Okay.
So he was also very aware. Like when he would see me, like sometimes he would see me cry, or sometimes he would see me just break down. I'd be happy one minute, and then he'd just see me break down, you know.
Yeah.
And like he would be like, "Mommy, you okay?" It was those moments right there where I'm like, "Dude, what you doing? Like, what are you doing?" You know. So kids, they realize that. So when they see their parent happy, when they see you smiling, when they see that you in a good mood, when you talking to them, it's because you're taking care of yourself. It's because you're giving that same energy to yourself. And when you don't, you project that onto everybody else.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you going about it that way, you know, your sons is watching you. They know what to do. They're going to be grown men, and they'll know how to handle things. You know? No, that's dope. No, that's dope.
Yeah.
And I want to ask, how has fitness played a role in your healing and overall mental health?
Ooh, that's a great question too.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, I am very heavy on fitness now, right?
Okay.
And it's because of my healing journey that made me do that.
Oh, okay.
So because during my healing journey, I was, like I said, going through a lot that people don't know. At one point, not to get too deep into it, but at one point I had lost 62 pounds to be exact, right?
Damn.
And this was right after I had my last child. I experienced a lot of post-labor trauma because like something happened to where I had like I had 2 health scares, and I had lost hella weight, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know why I was losing this weight. Mind you, like I'm thinking it's because I'm stressed. You know, I'm dealing with a whole bunch of crazy stuff right now. Heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak. I just had a child. I'm still dealing with mental health issues. Like, I'm thinking it's all of that just stressing me out, and that's why I'm losing weight, right? But it wasn't. It was actually a health scare I had. And long story short, I had to have surgery, and I can no longer have children, but I'm okay with that. Okay. But that is the reason why I had lost so much weight, and I didn't even know.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so it was like I was having symptoms, like crazy symptoms too. Like I'm thinking, I'm always hungry, right? Yeah. Everybody that know me know I got big back energy for real. Like I'm always eating. I love food, but at one point, after I had my child, I noticed that my appetite like disappeared. Like I would not be hungry, and I'm like, okay, that's odd for me because I'm always eating. I love food. Okay, check one. Then my friends and everybody started like saying like, you getting real small, like, you know, you good? I'm like, yeah, like, yes, I'm fine. I just had a baby. I'm losing weight. But it just kept shedding off. And then after that, I noticed that I started having like these crazy migraines, but I didn't think nothing of it because I always had like vision migraines, right? With my vision. And it wasn't that. It was like I started blacking out, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but somebody gonna have to tell me something. Right. Keep in mind, I always go to, one thing I'm gonna always do is go to a doctor's appointment. Stay, like, when I say my health, I pay attention to it, I pay attention to it. Yeah. They wasn't telling me nothing though. You know, I think it was just because they were more so focused on me re-entering motherhood. Like, yeah, this is my 3rd child, but it's different with every birth, right? Yeah. But they were so focused on that part that they didn't pay attention to what, like, any underlying health issues or anything like that. So when they finally like caught what was going on, what was wrong, and then that's when I had to have surgery. I started to pick up weight again after that. And then I was like, you know what? I got too small. I don't have no shape now. Like, I don't have, like, I'm so small now. I've always been really small, like, as a child, but I always had some type of shape. You know what I'm saying? I just wasn't small. But at this point, I had gotten very small. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get me a trainer to help me learn how to get my weight back, like the healthy way, properly. I've always been into fitness. Like I would work out, dance, all of that, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to properly weight lift because I never had a reason to.
Yeah.
Now, as I'm doing my research and I'm realizing like, oh, so to gain weight, you got to lift weights, you got to eat protein, you got to do all that.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do that on my own, so I had got a trainer, which shout out to Patrick, that's my trainer, Nova Wilson Fitness.
Okay. Shout out to him.
When I say once we start working, that weight start picking back up. And when I noticed the progress, and when I noticed like how much happier I was getting again, how much I could see, like, you know, I was very impressed with the journey. That's what made me start getting heavy into fitness. I'm like, I could do this. This is something I want to keep doing.
Yeah, I see you be boxing too on the.
Oh yeah, man.
Mat.
You know, so
Yeah.
so it's funny that you brought that up because like people really think like that I professionally box and I don't.
Yeah, I seen. I'm like, dang, you got a lot of anger, don't you?
It is. You know what? It's a stress reliever for me, which is why I'm glad that I got introduced to it.
Okay.
As a child, I have 4 brothers, right?
Yeah.
I grew up around all boys.
Girl.
I'm the only girl and I'm the baby. And my whole family is mainly boys. My cousins, my brothers, and then my dad, that's my dude. Like, you know, I've always been around men. So, as a child, like they was rough. Like that's the reason why I've always been a tomboy as well. Because I've been around nothing but boys. Yeah. But they used to, you know, show me a little something, you know, with the hands. So so it was kind of like it was like second nature to me. Like when my trainer, he started showing me boxing techniques. He doesn't professionally box, or he doesn't like, you know, he's not a boxer, but he knows techniques for fitness, you know, so we do it as cardio. But I started realizing that it was very therapeutic for me, and it was something that I needed to do to not only like help with my fitness journey, but also to kind of relieve some of that anger that I did have built up. And when I say I didn't even know I was good at it, like people tell me I am, I didn't even realize like dang, I really, you know, I got a few little moves or whatever. But I like it a lot. Like I really want to learn how to not professionally, but I want to learn like the professional techniques of it. Yeah. Just to learn, you know.
I think you should, because you know I want to learn, and the only reason why, because that's besides me always wanting to do it, but you just never know. Like I don't know, like you might got to defend yourself. I think about that sometimes, like man, like you never know, because you don't know what a person thinking. You know
and see, for me, I ain't never have a problem with defending myself. Yeah. But boxing is different from street fighting. You know what I mean? Like, you might have hands in the street, but in the boxing ring, somebody, you know, you might not. Yeah. It's different techniques, but
it is.
It does help, though. I feel like it does help with everyday life and being able to defend yourself in that way, just because, like, with boxing, it's not all physical. Like, it is a mental thing, too. You have to be very aware. And you have to always know what your next move is and what the other person's next move is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, before we switch topic, like you had mentioned, like, you know, you say you don't like attention, and you believe it comes from childhood.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way? Why do you think that?
You know that's crazy. I thought I would get over that one day. I'm still like, I hate attention. I don't like it. I will purposefully avoid something if I feel like it's gonna bring too much attention. I don't know why I'm like that. I know why I'm like that, but the reason why is because it does stem from childhood trauma.
How though? Is that like too much attention?
I don't like.
No offense. I'm trying to make sense of it. So if you can, try to explain to me what you mean by that.
So basically, I don't like people looking at me too much. I don't like. Okay. I've always been a person who can never take a compliment. Till this day, it's hard. Like I'm just now learning how to accept compliments. Like I don't know why somebody can compliment me and it gives me anxiety through the roof. I don't know why. Or I always feel like if you compliment me, I gotta give you one back. I can't never just let nothing be on me. I always have to return it.
Right.
Like, and I'm like that in a lot of ways. Like gift giving.
Yeah.
I never was able to receive gifts from people.
Okay.
Like I don't know. I think what it is there was someone in my life who they used to want credit for every single thing they did, even though they were supposed to be doing it. It was like everything that they did for you, you gonna hear about. They never gonna stop talking about it. Everybody in the world gonna know. Like they want credit for everything, and because of that, that made me always like. For one, it made me super humble because I don't like when someone does something for you, and then they expect you to like bow down, get on your knees, and praise them. You know what I mean? Like especially if it's something that you already supposed to be doing. Like a parent, for instance, right? You're supposed to take care of me. Why I got to give you credit for taking care of me, and that's something you're supposed to be doing?
Yeah, true.
And that's where that stemmed from. Like I don't want anything from nobody that I got to hear about. You know what I'm saying? Compliments included. You know, like it's just I don't know, and that might not. Other people might look at that and be like, "Girl, please, like that ain't nothing." But to me, it is because when I like as a child, anything that was given to me, I always had to hear about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I got the wrong attention as a little girl. From, you know what I'm saying, like from older men that used to be around. I'm gonna just leave that at that. And as I grew up very mean. I grew up very like I didn't want nobody to touch me. I grew up feeling like I had to be boyish because for one, I've always been around men, right? I have all brothers. They rough me up, but on the other side of it, you know, it's the wrong type of attention from men that I was not prepared for. I wasn't ready for. You know what I mean? Like, and that made me kind of like made me want to be in a shell. Like, don't touch me. Don't look at me for too long. Don't say nothing inappropriate or crazy to me because then that's going to make me get on the defense. That's going to make me feel like I have to be trained to go. I got to be ready to attack. And I hate that because right now, in my 30s, I still don't like attention. I just don't like, I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah. I understand. I'm the same way to a degree. That comes from like my upbringing, like not my upbringing, things I went through as a child. Like, cause you know, I grew up like heavy set and like the way how I used to carry myself sloppy and stuff like that. So I thought less of myself at one point in my life. So when I got older and lost weight and people see me now, I'm like, well, you look very different. I thought that as a compliment. But when people give me compliments, I wasn't really used to that. 'Cause I didn't see that in myself.
Same.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now I'm like, I'm about to turn 30 in June, so I'm getting used to compliments. You know what I'm saying? And also stepping my comfort zone too. That have been helping me out tremendously.
Yeah, that's crazy. We very alike in that way. Comfort zone. That's the safest space to be. I swear.
It is. Definitely it is.
It is. Also, like what you said about not being able to accept compliments when you were at a certain point in your life, and then once you change. I'm the same because I also used to feel like I think I suffered a lot from like not having or having low confidence as a child. And like my self-esteem always took a hit because, once again, trauma. And those things, I don't think people realize that those things follow you as you grow older because like you feeling like you're not worthy, you feeling like you don't deserve to hear the good things because you're so used to negative things, right? And I think that follows me now. And a lot of people get so mad, like my close friends get so mad at me because they like, why is it that you don't see what other people see in you?
Right.
It's because I'm still healing. I'm still trying to, you know what I'm saying, understand that I am worth everything that everybody says I am. You know, I am. But when you are healing, it takes you a very long time to be able to have that vision like everybody else does. Like you kind of have to look in the lens, like on the outside looking in too on yourself when you're trying to work on yourself. So,
definitely. And when you healing too, it's an everyday process.
it is.
Like, that's what I learned. Like I learned like, you know, you're supposed to be healed, and you would like forget about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But it's really not. Like sometimes you might not forget about it, but sometimes it may be moments where it would trigger you to relive that moment.
Absolutely.
And you gotta like able to learn how to handle that, and that's what I'm still learning
Mm-hmm.
for myself. And what I want to ask is, how did your healing journey inspire you to create your album Spirit in the Phoenix?
That's a great question.
It's an album or mixtape?
It's an album. Yep, it's an album. So yes, I am now coming into my artistry. I am now officially an artist.
You're stepping out your comfort zone.
And stepping out my comfort zone. Yes.
Gotta step on that. Yeah.
So basically, for the people that don't know, I am a poet. I am a songwriter. I have been doing that since I was 11 years old. I went to an art school for that reason. But I have always been one of those people who don't like attention, so I don't want to be in the spotlight. Okay. I'd rather play the background, right? So I've always wanted to do writing, want to ghostwrite for somebody. I wrote songs, like all that type of stuff, personally. But I did that because it was always like therapy for me. Yeah. It was always a way to release how I felt because I didn't have nobody to talk to about how I felt, right? Mm-hmm. So like that's how I kind of became a poet because I was always journaling. Then as I got older, I started to realize like, dang, it's a lot of artists in my family, and we all have musical bones in our bodies, some way, somehow. Like we all love music, right? And for me, my love for poetry and my love for music, like with this album, that's kind of what the purpose of it is, for me to combine like my love for both. So I'll just turn my poetry into melodies, you know, but it's helped with my healing journey and spirituality as well, because it allows me to think freely. It allows me to say what I want to say without feeling judged or without feeling anxious about saying what I'm going to say. Yeah. It allows me to release all like the emotions that I feel when I feel angry, when I feel sad, burdened, all that. Not only that, I meditate. I have found myself spiritually while trying to heal from a lot of traumas. Okay. And that kind of like made me want to make an album because I listen to a lot of meditation music. Okay. Like when I say I'm not the average, like I just listen to rap. No, I listen to every genre of music there is.
Every country?
I listen to country. Let me not say every genre, because I listen to country, right? But it has to be a black country artist.
A black.
I can't just listen to like. Okay. I can't do it. I'm sorry, but I can't do it. I can't get in tune with that.
Yeah, I can't. I get it.
Yeah, but I do like black country artists though. But I am really in love with like meditation music. It soothes me. So I would meditate, right? And I have a playlist called My Peaceful Playlist. Yeah. And it has a bunch of songs on there that's like some are just like chants. Right. Some are just like nature sounds, and some are like R&B meditation songs by R&B artists, right? Yeah. The more I started listening and meditating to that music, I was like, this kind of sound like my poetry, like spoken word. Like I can do this on a track. Yeah. So then that one day I was like, you know what? I want to make a meditation album. But that changed because my love for music, I'm like, nah, some of these gotta have some up tempo, or some of
Yeah.
these gotta like, I want to be able to make music. So it went from me making a meditation album to me just making an album to express myself. And that's how we got here with Spirit in the Phoenix.
So I want to ask, have you? I'm gonna ask you a question. I know you said you don't really like attention. Are you doing this? You putting yourself out there for attention, right?
Yeah.
So like, have you mentally prepared yourself for that, for the attention?
I've been trying to,
Okay.
but even doing like some of the videos, I was so nervous. And I was around people that I was so comfortable with. My friends were there at the video shoots, like, but I was still so nervous. And I think, and they all keep telling me like, dude, you know, now that you're an artist, you gonna have to start accepting the fact that you gonna have to be out there. Like, you're exposing yourself to people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm aware of that, but I didn't mentally prepare for it yet.
Definitely. Nah, I think it would help you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like me doing this podcast. At first, I was nervous to do it because of like my own insecurities and like worrying about what people have to say.
Right.
But like the more I kept doing it and getting the feedback and also looking at myself too, it helped me to even like, okay, what's next? I want to step out my comfort zone again.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it may be that for you too. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you start getting the positive feedback, and you be surprised how many people will just randomly come to you like, man, I remember you said you want to do it, now you doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, because people be telling me that they randomly be like, oh, I'm proud of you because you said you wanted to do it, now you doing it. You know what I'm saying? You be very surprised.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that you said that. It was not only meditation, but I have some friends that actually pushed me to do it. Two of them in particular, like, they all, like, some people are familiar with my pen, and that's the whole thing. Like, I don't really want to be seen. I'm not trying to have a music career. I'm not trying to get signed. I'm not trying to do none of that. The whole purpose of me becoming an artist is, for one, so people can hear my pen. My pen really cold. Like, not to, humbly speaking.
Yeah.
But part of me doing this is not only for like a therapeutic release, but it's for me. Like, as an individual, it's for me.
Okay.
So like, I want people to receive it, but if you don't, it's okay. Like, I'm not the type of person where I feel like, oh my God, if I drop this project and nobody likes it, it's over. My life. No, it's okay. It's for me. And whoever received it, like, I hope that it's in a positive way. But it's so many people that have pushed me to be like, hey, listen, why you sitting on this? You've always been really dope with a pen. Why are you sitting on this? And my two friends that pushed me to do it is the reason why I'm here today. Like, they literally are the ones who was like, dude, you playing. Like, you should have been doing this. You should have been doing that. And so finally I listened, and that's why I'm here.
No, that's good, man, because I feel like it does take a village for anything you do in life to overcome anything in life. That's what I learned, like dealing with different things in my life. You know what I'm saying? And definitely. And then too, you'd be surprised to be strangers too, kind of help you too as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And what I want to ask is like, why that title, Spirit in the Phoenix?
That title because with this healing journey, this spiritual journey, I have been rebirthed. The phoenix symbolizes reincarnation. It symbolizes rebirthing yourself. It symbolizes a new start, and I'm experiencing all of that. The phoenix bird is very symbolic to my spiritual journey, and that's why I wanted it to be a representation of me with this album. And I feel like I am that spirit within the phoenix, so that's why I called it the Spirit in the Phoenix. I'm bringing myself out of those ashes, out of that dark space, finally freeing myself and spreading my wings.
Okay. So with this album, is it gonna be anybody featured, or is it gonna be just yourself?
It's just me. It's no features.
Okay.
And reason being, like I said, is because it was a therapeutic release for me. So I feel like, although I got help as far as like the background, people, of course, somebody recorded it and, all of that. It had to be written by me because it's my story. Yeah. So I had to be the narrator for my own story. Got it. I didn't want to do any features. And then especially because this is my first time actually recording in the studio, actually a debut album. Like, this is my first experience with this. Wow. It needed to be just an experience for me. Maybe the next one. Yeah, maybe the next one I'll have some features because I do have some dope, like, it's some people in mind that I want to work with so bad. Yeah. So bad. That I admire, like, musically. Yeah. Poetically. Like, it's some poets and it's some artists that I really would love to work with. But this time around, it had to be just for me. Wow. Yeah. Wow, no, that's dope because you stepping out your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's helping me. Like, watching you helping me to want to step out my comfort zone even more. Oh, wow. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hell yeah, for sure. You're going to see what I'm doing. You're going to see. Yeah, I know that's right. This ain't about me right now. But, so, like, what message are you hoping people can take away from the music? I'm hoping that people are able to understand that peace is a priority. It's not something that if I got it, it's cool. If not, no. That's a priority. You should be able to be at peace in your life, especially at this big age. A lot of us in our 30s, you need to be able to understand that peace is something that you must have in order for you to grow, in order for you to glow. Like, you got to be at peace. Not only that, I am a big mental health advocate, right? Okay. This project is a reflection of mental health. It's a reflection of being at peace, uplifting your spirit. Like, this music that I call it my version of spiritual music. Mm-hmm. It's not gospel. It's not gospel. But when I say spiritual music, I mean, like, I made music for people to feel uplifted by, empowered by. Mm-hmm. It's for yogis. It's for people who meditate. Okay. It's for the everyday mom that is just cleaning her house and want to hear some affirmations. It's for the black man who want to feel loved and appreciated. It's for anybody who feel like they need a pick-me-up or feel like they need their souls, their spirits uplifted. That's what my music is for. It's all positivity. It's none of that negative serial killer shit. I'm not promoting anything but peace, love, and positivity on this project. So these are my couple of last questions. Mm-hmm. First is, when does that project supposed to be coming out? So because my gift is a gift to myself, it's coming out on my birthday this year, which is May 12th. May 12th. I will be releasing Spirit in the Phoenix on May 12th, so y'all be on the lookout for that. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. And another question I have is, like, what are your advice for someone who want to face their fears and step out their comfort zone? That's a great question. Yeah. First of all, I just want to throw this out there. My very first single is called Release Me, and it talks about all of that. Okay. Yeah, okay. So if you want to step out on faith and just get rid of all those fears that you're facing, you got to be willing to know that you're worth that, and you also have to be willing to know that being complacent and stagnant, staying in one spot, is not going to get you nowhere. Right. You cannot, like, you have to be able to have some type of motion to move. You know what I mean? Like, fear is only going to keep you hindered. Like, you're only going to be stuck. Yeah. So in order for you to really get to the potential that you want to reach, you got to be able to face your fears. So rather that's, I don't know, you a hairstylist, but you scared that, owning the shop, you're going to fail. Well, how would you know if you're going to fail if you don't even try? You have to try to do things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we as people, the only way that we are stuck in our fears is because we do that to ourselves. I think we have to learn how to start really like manifesting and speaking positively, because there's so much power in the tongue, right?
Right.
Like, you keep telling yourself you're not good enough, you can't do it, you're gonna fail. Oh, this not gonna work. Well, it's not, because you keep telling yourself that, and those words are keeping you right where you are.
Right.
So face them fears by just doing what you say you want to do. Like, start actually making moves towards the progress that you want to make. That's the only way you can face your fears.
Definitely. I agree to that. I agree to that. You gotta just do it like Nike.
You gotta just do it.
Yeah, no, definitely. So these my two last questions. If you could give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
That's deep.
Yeah.
If I can give advice to my younger self,
Yeah.
I would tell her, dang.
Take your time.
I'm trying not to get emotional with that one, but
Oh, you good. You know.
I would tell her, you don't live in a cage. It's okay to fly. It's okay to fly. I would tell her, it's okay to be happy. It's okay to smile.
Yeah.
Your happiness is not dependent on someone else. I would also tell her that everyone in the world is not bad, so don't hold that against everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. And like one of the things like I noticed about you, like the past conversations, not with this conversation, but past situations, that you never was stuck in that victim mentality. You know what I'm saying? And like, what's your message for somebody who is stuck in that victim mentality and having a hard time to get out of that type of mindset? It's hard.
It is hard, but honestly, my only advice for that is that being a victim, for one, is you are at that point taking responsibility for everything bad that's happening to you.
Yeah.
Because you are doing nothing but like feeding that energy of being a victim. So it's like everything that's happening to you bad, you can change that, but you don't want to.
Right.
The only way that you can get out of that is by seeing the bigger picture and understanding that you are not what you've been through. You are not what you've been through.
I agree.
And the only reason that you are going to become what you've been through is if you keep on just telling yourself that that is what makes and shapes your life, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's too many people that I feel like a lot of people who have that victim mentality, they want everybody to hear them so bad, and they want everybody to hear their story, that they'll keep telling it and don't realize that, okay, once your story is heard and there's people actually reaching out to you, like really reaching their hand out to you, but you keep smacking it away, you want to be a victim at that point. Because you have to be able to accept the help and accept that change in order for you to get out that mindset. But it's a lot of people who won't do that. They just want the sympathy. They want you to feel bad for them. They want to keep telling the story because they feel like it gives them something.
I agree. And a lot of people want to be happy, but they're not willing to do the steps to be happy.
Absolutely. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
And at that point, it's on you. Now,
I agree.
You can't. That's not for someone else to take accountability for.
I agree.
It's for you to do. So
I agree. I agree 100% to that. I agree 100% to that. So this is my last question. So what's something you're most proud of today as a woman, as a mother, and a creative?
My biggest accomplishment in life is homeschooling my kids. That's my biggest accomplishment.
Oh wait, you been homeschooling your kids?
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh,
I did. Yep.
Okay.
I did for 3 years. That was my biggest accomplishment as a mother. My biggest accomplishment as a creative was actually doing this project. So to tell myself that it's time to stop sitting on
Yeah.
everything that I create and start putting it out, that's my biggest accomplishment as a creative. And then what was the other one?
As a woman.
As a woman, I think I'm most proud as a woman. You know what? I'm proud of coming into my femininity because I've always been a tomboy, and
Okay.
I've always been very like rough around the edges and very like I've been hard body all my life, and now I'm realizing that I'm becoming softer, and I love that for me.
So, how did you get to that? That's just all just therapy and stuff like that.
Not no, I'm not gonna credit therapy for that. Because like, well, I can, but not all the way because I think being able to realize that spiritually, right? My feminine energy is what makes me be able to be a good mother. I can be affectionate. I have patience. I'm able to reciprocate the love that my children pour into me.
Right.
I feel like that's as soft as I get, like
Right.
being around my kids. But it's just so many things and so many like aspects of my life that I feel are starting to make me very soft. And before I never was able to see that in me, you know. People around me starting to realize like they like, dude, you glow now. Like you got a different type of glow. You like something different about you.
Yeah.
And
That's dope.
even the way I speak, like my cousins, they crack jokes with me all the time because like, you know, I tell them like, you know, the right dude come along, I might, you know, I'm gonna be soft automatically. I'll be R&B singer with them, but with everybody else, I'm a trap rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like what it do, brother? Like you know, something like that. But I'm noticing that I'm becoming less of that and more of the feminine version of myself. Okay. And I do owe that to therapy, but I also owe that to finding activities that contribute to my healing journey, like yoga, meditation. I feel like that makes me softer. Poetry makes me softer because it allows me to tap into a different part of me. Like I can talk about all type of things that, like aside from like traumas and all the hard stuff, I could talk about love. I can talk about so many other things that brings out that softer spirit in me. So I'm proud of that. 100%.
So what do you think a woman can do to work on being in her feminine side and her soft girl era, as they would say?
That's a great question. It's not just about like being able to get dressed up and all that, because a lot of people be thinking that's what it's about. It's not just that. Right. Like I'm working on that too, because like I said, I've always been a tomboy. So I'm working on like my appearance wise, but in order to get to that point, I think you have to tap into yourself, like your mentality for one.
Yeah.
A feminine woman is able to realize that you don't always have to be like you want to have independence, but you don't want that independence to, I guess, shape you in a way that you feel like you don't need nobody.
Right.
You feel like you don't need nobody. You don't need anything aside from what you're doing for yourself. You got to be able to like. You got to be able to allow someone to lead you sometimes. That makes you more feminine, I think, in my opinion. You have to, I'm not going to say be submissive because I feel like that's a different, that's a broad discussion for another day.
Yeah, it is.
But you do have to allow people to lead you sometimes. You can't always be the leader. Like, you know, every great teacher was taught at some point. Like, you know, you got to be willing to learn. You don't know everything, you know. And also, I think just understanding how much peace means to you, that makes you more feminine. It's a lot of people walking around, women walking around, just angry all the time, mean spirited. Yeah, like a lot of mean girls, and like I feel like that's not very feminine. Like you being mean, you being angry, you being bitter, or like they say, with the mean girl era or whatever. With some women don't, they feel like if you don't look as good in them, you can't speak to them, or if I hold the door open for you, you don't have manners. That's not very feminine.
Right, right. Nah, I agree. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, a lot of women does have that, and I'd be more, what's that word I'm looking for? Maybe, no. I'd be more understanding because a lot of women have to grow up to be masculine because of they didn't have a father figure, or, you know, they got to raise their kids on their own, so they got to be in the survivor mode. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I believe a lot of black men date outside of their race because of those things. And I believe it's a person's responsibility to heal and, you know, overcome those things. You know what I'm saying? There's only so much you can always keep. You know, I feel like you have to get a point. You have to get to a point in your life of want to do better, and also you got to look at yourself of why things is not happening for you. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I understand that too. And like, I'm not saying, because like black women in general, like, and I'm speaking specifically on black women because personally, like, I feel like we are the only women that get judged for being like strong or always being in survival mode. It's because we had to be, like, we have to be. We don't have a choice.
Right.
You know, but I will say that that's not like we shouldn't use it as an excuse to have to always be so masculine. Even though I don't feel like survival mode is considered masculinity at all, I think it's just something that we were forced to have because, you know, there's a lot of adversities that black women and black men have to face. But black women in particular, compared to other races, I feel like we're the ones who get the short end of the stick because people feel like we always got to be so strong, because people feel like, oh, they independent, they got it, they don't need help, they this, they that. But yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Definitely.
And that's a reason why a lot of us struggle with being feminine, because we're forced to have to be that way. But like I said, it's not an excuse for us to be able to change that. We can still be independent. We can still do things for ourselves and find a way to be a little bit softer.
I agree. I agree to that. Dropping gems on that. So, well, to wrap things up, that's all the questions I have. And I wish you best of luck. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
I'm proud of you too.
Oh, thank you.
I see what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. So I'm looking forward to hearing your project. You know what I mean? And your project gonna be on all platforms.
Yes. Yep. All streaming platforms. It will be available. There will be music videos on YouTube. So I hope everybody tap in and.
Okay, for sure. Oh yeah. I might have to sign you to the label. Let's See Plants Records.
I mean.
Yeah. We're gonna discuss it off camera.
All right.
We're gonna have to. We're gonna work something out.
Okay.
But yeah, keep doing what you're doing. I'd love to bring you back on.
I would love to be here. This was a very interesting conversation, because I usually don't open up to people, and like my life is very private. This was a good conversation for me because this was too a therapeutic release. So I thank you for that. I appreciate being on this platform today.
Oh, you know, that's how I do it at Let's See Plants, man.
Okay, all right now.
You know, that's what we do. But yeah, man, keep on doing your thing.